Hey, so in this video, holy, this is so distracting. Oh my God, I'm spending hours on YouTube. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to subscribe to YouTube without subscribing to YouTube. Right? So right now, inside of subscriptions, like I'm getting distracted, man. I need to focus on homework. Or on like work. But anyway, yeah, this is way too distracting. So what I'm gonna do is instead of using like YouTube to subscribe, like I gotta make this less distracting. I installed this clickbait remover and okay, this is a little bit better, but man, these thumbnails are still very distracting. So what I can do, like I was saying before, is I can use this thing called Newsboat, which is an RSS reader, and it should make my life a whole lot easier, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to terminal, and first I'm gonna make sure that brew is installed. All right, so I have brew installed. Um, if you don't know what brew is, just go to brew.sh, and basically you can just run this line of code right here inside of your terminal. Just paste it like that, and then that'll allow you to have this brew command installed, right? So once you have brew installed on Mac OS, because I'm on Mac OS, on Linux it'll be like apt-get or whatever. You want to do brew install Newsboat like this, right? Right, so you gotta wait a while for Newsboat to install. Right, my goal though is to be less distracted because right now my YouTube subscriptions are way too distracting. Right, so you gotta wait a while for the brew to do its installing. All right, so be a little patient. We can take a look back at our distractions. Right, just take a look at this stuff. Imagine how do you keep track of which videos you watched and which ones you didn't watch? They're just all plopped right here on the subscriptions page for you to see, and it can be pretty distracting. Like let's say I watched this Mr. Beast I'm so sorry video, right? Like this one right here, right? Let's say I watched it. Like how do I know that I watched it? How do I keep track? What if I watch it again? Then I waste more time, right? All right, so anyway, so once you have Newsboat installed, you can try running Newsboat, and then it'll say that there's an error. And the reason why there's an error is because you need to make sure you update some files in your .newsboat directory. So right now, if I print the working directory, you'll see that I'm inside of users Jonathan Lee. Right, so this is just the current user. So what I want to do is I want to navigate to .newsboat. Right, so this means current directory subdirectory will be .newsboat. Right, so I'm going to list. So inside of the .newsboat, you're going to see I have a cache.db, and that's it, right? And so what I can do now is I can do open dot, which will open up this current directory, right? And by the way, if you want to see the directory tree, just go to view and make sure you show path bar. So you can see I'm inside of users Jonathan Lee .newsboat, right? So right now there's only one file in here. But I want to add a few more files. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Newsboat folder that I'm going to click on and I'm going to drag it into Sublime Text. Right, so you can see that this Newsboat folder is here now. I'm going to add two files. The first file is going to be called config, right? And I'm going to add another file, and this will be called URLs. Okay, cool. So inside of this config, what I want to put is I'll put my cheat sheet. Okay, so inside of stickies, I wrote down some cheat sheets. You want to put the word browser open %u. This just tells a Newsboat that every time you use the browser, it'll open up the specified URL. Inside of URLs, you want to have a list of URLs, right? So this is an example of what you might have as a list of URLs, right? So what you want, what Newsboat wants is in your format is you want to have things formatted as your YouTube channel ID and then the channel name and then the whatever the channel is called, like these, right? Well, in this case, if you wanted to add a new channel, what you want to do is you just want to make sure you have this line here, and then you would include your new like channel. Like you'll just put your your channel ID right here, and then you would do squiggly, and then do your channel name, right? But in this case, I'm gonna clear this out. I don't want these URLs. I'm just gonna try to move these like Jake Paul, Lily Singh, all of these channels. I'm gonna try to move it into these URLs, right? So what I have though, that will help me out a lot, is that here inside of my home directory, if I go inside applications, I wrote 2 files already. One is called Newsboat add, which will help me add the channels very easily. All right, it's written in Python, and you can look over the code if you want. Right, this is basically my code. You can take a screenshot of it. All right, and what it does is it adds the YouTube channel to Newsboat. All right, so anyway, enough talking. I'm gonna show you how it works. Okay, so here's how I do it. First things first is I want to go into my Newsboat. Is I want to go into just any directory. So I'm just going to go back to the home directory, right? Then I'm going to do Newsboat add, which is using the command I have earlier. And I'm going to add this first one, which is Jake Paul. Let me copy Jake Paul Productions and close his link. And then I'm going to paste Newsboat add Jake Paul, right? So now I have Jake Paul added. Cool. Now I want to do Lily Singh. All right, so let me copy her URL. All right, and then I can just paste, and I can do Newsboat add Lily Singh. Right, so now you'll see that Lily Singh has been added. All right, cool. So I just want to do the same thing for the rest of the people. Right, so just give me some time. This one's for Liza Koshy. This one is for Logan Paul. And I want one for Niga Higa. Copy. All right, and I also want one for PewDiePie. Paste that. I want one for Ryan Trahan as well. That's pretty legit. All right, so now at this point, I want to add all these URLs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find everything that is a new tab like that, and I'm going to replace it with a space, right? And then in the very front, I'm going to say Newsboat-add this first URL, second URL, and so forth. And the reason why is because if you just run Newsboat add, right, it'll say it adds the usage is you want to type Newsboat add followed by YouTube URL. But what I actually didn't write is that the usage can actually be unlimited URLs, right? So you can have your YouTube URL 2, and you can have your YouTube URL 3, and so forth. You can have as many URLs as you want, right? I might have to change up the description. Right, so that's basically what you want. So I'm just going to copy this stuff to add the rest of the channels. And you can see it's been added. So now if I go into URLs, you'll see that I've added the rest of the people from like Liza all the way to Ryan Trahan. And I can delete that space up at the top just to make it look neater. So now I can pretty much use Newsboat, right? How do I use Newsboat? I just type Newsboat, and you can see that here I have my 7 YouTube subscriptions. Now, of course, I want to reload these subscriptions, right? So I'm going to hit reload all, which is capital R. And you can see at the bottom, it reloads all of these subscriptions, right? So for Jake Paul, I have 15 out of 15 unwatched videos. Lily Singh, I have 15 out of 15 unwatched, and so forth, right? So how do I use Newsboat, right? If I want to use Newsboat, all I have to do is to hit, I just go over to Jake Paul, right? The first one, or whichever video, whichever channel I want to watch, I just hit enter. And that enters into all the recent videos he has, right? So let's say this first video about like Dana White betting $1 million, blah, 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 is one that I haven't watched yet, right? So if I want to watch it, I hit enter. And then here you can see there's the information, and I can just hit lowercase o to open it up in the browser. And then here I can just sit around and watch the video. And when I'm done, of course, I can just close this video when I'm done. And then I can hit little q to leave. So now you can see that I've watched the first video. And so you can basically just go through all the videos like this. And if you want to mark all the videos as read, you can just hit the capital A for mark all as read. So I'm going to do that, capital A, all right, and that marks all videos as read. So I go back. So you can see now there's no more new Jake Paul videos, but I can just basically do this to the rest of the people and watch all their videos. All right, so let's say I want to look at like Liza Koshy, right? Hit enter. All right, watch all these videos. I don't want to watch any of them. They're boring or they're interesting, whatever, but I'm done. So I do capital A and that marks all as read. And, just keep going through the list. All right, and by the way, if you want to clear their entire list, just hit capital A, 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 and it clears your entire list, right? You can just hold capital A and press capital A a bunch of times, and it'll sweep through your list and mark everything as read if you want. When you're done with everything, just hit little q and it exits out. All right. Now, there are some limitations to this code that I had, which I'll try to show you. Right. So you know how you know how you can do like Newsboat ad, right? So Newsboat ad. But what if I accidentally add Ryan Trahan for the second time? Like, let me just copy the Ryan Trahan link. Copy link address. All right, so Newsboat add Ryan Trahan, right? Hit enter. Right, so you can see that now I have 2 Ryan Trahan subscriptions, right? Right, so if I have 2 Ryan Trahans, what this means is when I open up Newsboat, you'll see 2 Ryan Trahans, right? And it's very possible. Usually, what's really possible with Newsboat, it's very possible that you might have like a Ryan Trahan like up at the top right here. This is a Ryan Trahan, and at the bottom you'll also have another Ryan Trahan. Oops, my bad. Right, so this is very possible, right? You add a YouTube channel once, and then you add it a second time. So you can see over here the 5th channel is Ryan Trahan, and this last channel, the 9th channel, is also Ryan Trahan. It's very possible, right? So when you're sweeping through your list, you'll be like, hey, how come this channel appears 2 times? You must have added it 2 times on accident. Oh. Hold on. Oh, I think I messed up. I accidentally put Ryan Trahan in the middle of a Logan Paul video. Or Logan Paul channel. So let me put that back. All right, cool. Like that. Make it look neat. Let's go back here and quit this and launch Newsboat again. So yeah, like I was stating, here's a Ryan Trahan, here's a Ryan Trahan. How do you clear it out? Well, I wrote this Newsboat unique for a reason. It's to make the list unique, right? So all you have to do to make your list be unique and not have duplicate lines like a double Ryan Trahan, what you can do is just do Newsboat dash or hyphen unique, like that. Hit enter, and that will make sure your list is unique. So now if you click into your list, it should make it unique. Wait, hold on. What? Yeah, it's very interesting how it's not unique. All right. So apparently my code didn't work. That's fine. Just give it a few spaces and try again. Right? Newsboat dash unique. All right, just do Newsboat unique like that. Hit enter and go back and go into URLs, and you'll see that it's still not unique. That's really interesting, actually. All right, so how about this? If you want it to be unique, maybe you don't have to deal. Maybe my code that I wrote wasn't that good. Okay, I'll just delete the Newsboat unique. So if you want your list to be unique, all you have to do is open up your favorite text editor, say Sublime Text, for example, and then all you have to do is to go over here to edit and go to permute lines and hit unique. All right, and that will make sure everything is unique. That's all you have to do. All right, I'll show you another example. Right, so let's say you have like multiple PewDiePies, right, or something. PewDiePie, like you have a bunch of these, right? And it's not unique at all, right? What you can do again is go to edit, go to permute lines, go to unique, and that will make sure everything is unique, right? And that might be an easier way to make sure your URLs are all good. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do, really, and to get the Newsboat to work. And by the way, if you want the Newsboat to load reload on start, just do Newsboat -R, and at the bottom you'll see that it starts loading Newsboat. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that Newsboat -R is the same as going into Newsboat and then hitting capital R. But anyway, this is pretty much how you do the Newsboat to subscribe to YouTube channels without actually subscribing to the YouTube channels. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.